Yo, welcome back. 2 stories from relationships. The first is about a man revealing his crush on a married woman. The second is a guy who kissed a woman and made her cry. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This story is titled, My 29 female guy friend, 34 male, just admitted he had a crush on me for years. I am married. For background, I 29F met a small group of friends in my neighborhood about 8 years ago and we hang out regularly. They have been with me through a lot of different life events, and the guys in the group have become good friends with my husband, who I married last year, and even hang out without me sometimes. I used to have a little crush on one of the guys in the group, Steve, but he never hit on me or gave me any reason to think he wanted to be more than friends. So I mentally moved on. Nothing ever came close to happening between us. There were a few times I remember he was acting weird and I was worried maybe he didn't even like having me around that much. But I've always thought he was a really cool person and we see the world in similar ways. This past weekend, a couple of us, including my husband and a girl Steve is dating, were hanging out, drinking and watching a movie. When I went to get another drink and no one else was around, Steve came up to me and told me he was happy for me and my husband, thinks my husband is a great guy, but has had a crush on me for years. He described one of the times he was acting weird and told me it was because he was trying to work up the nerve to ask me out. He told me he thought I was beautiful but was also a special person to him. I was very surprised and told him so, and without thinking, admitted that at one point I had had a little crush on him too. This was probably a mistake. He looked really sad and started saying how much he messed up, how much he regretted not asking me out. I gave him a hug, told him I was flattered, and said something like, well, it all worked out for the best. Because I was meant to end up with husband, and you were meant to end up with someone much cooler than me, and joked about an alternate reality where we got together. I hoped we could just laugh about it and move on. I later told my husband, who laughed and didn't think it was a big deal at all. Sucks for Steve. His view is the past is the past. He still likes Steve as a friend and has no problem with us hanging out together. He thought we should just write off Steve's confession as being drunk and stupid. But Steve texted me days later to tell me he was thinking about the alternate reality where he and I got together, that he was really happy to see me. I pretty much shut it down and responded like, haha, yeah, crazy night. I am happily married, I love my husband, and I would never cheat on him or leave him. Period. But the thing is, I also can't stop thinking about what might have happened if Steve had spoken up sooner. All the times we had together keep running through my head, and I am noticing all the signs I missed, like him dating someone who could be my twin. Apparently, everyone else in the friend group knew he liked me and didn't say anything. On top of that, I really like the girl Steve is dating. She is cool and I was excited for her to be part of the friend group so we could double date with my husband. She was even opening up to me earlier in the night about how she is a little insecure about Steve being able to commit, and I was reassuring her. I feel terrible. I don't think I still have romantic feelings for Steve, but I am definitely attracted to him, and now I am feeling really guilty for even thinking about him so much. A part of me is also angry at him for telling me now, when it's too late. I would have rather not known. He had years to speak up and didn't, so what's the point of putting this on me now? Why did Steve do this? Do I deserve to feel so guilty for wondering what could have been? Is there a way for us to remain friends going forward? And do I say anything to his girlfriend? Comment 1. I'm dumbstruck that Steve waited this long to confess and then only did it after you were married. I'm sure that you confessing that you used to reciprocate his feelings made it all much worse, even though I don't think that was your intention. I do not know how you all remain friends in the long run. He should have kept this to himself. There isn't any benefit to telling you now. Comment 2. Sigh. I've seen this before. Maybe take it from someone who has watched and been the sympathetic ear. Don't indulge your fantasies. Don't respond to Steve anymore, even in a joking, yeah that's so crazy kind of way. What happens is a shared joke. A shared joke on text becomes a shared joke in person. Steve has already demonstrated that he is willing to risk everything to have you. He confessed his feeling for you after you were married and while at a party with both of your spouse, significant other. Steve is on a fast train to Affairsville. He's willing and ready to have you. Don't let him. Editor @Gross Steve. Maybe you're still attracted to the idea of him, so let me present his personality in a different way. What if Steve were your husband? One day you and Steve go to a company barbecue. Steve offers to get you a lemonade and goes around the corner. He doesn't come back for about 20 min. He forgets your lemonade. You later find out that he was confessing his feelings to a coworker of his. He swears it didn't go anywhere. You believe him. Is Steve a nice guy? I don't think so. Comment 3. I hate these kinds of situations because it plays into the tropes. We're taught in romantic comedies that it's super romantic that the long-suffering guy finally admits his feelings and it's courageous to put yourself out there no matter the stakes, yada, yada. Steve's feelings are his own responsibility and I'd suggest therapy if I were his friend because it's not healthy to focus on what you can't have to the detriment of the life you're living right in front of you. By telling you he wasn't being brave or cute, it was emotional manipulation because now he's made his feelings your problem. And with his texting he's continuing to make his feelings your problem. It'll definitely be much easier for you to remain friends with Steve than for him to remain friends with you. That's just how unrequited feelings work, but they're his feelings to deal with in my opinion. By telling you and now continuing to communicate with you about them he's torturing himself but also burdening you with something that, quite frankly, shouldn't be your problem. Hopefully he can find some peace that maybe he made a mistake not being courageous so many years ago and speaking up. That's a great lesson learned. But if he doesn't learn and continues to pine, he could very well frick up what sounds like a great relationship with a wonderful girl in service to a crush that will never be. He needs to take the opportunity to grow up from this, but again that's on him. For your part, if I were in your shoes, I'd remind him gently that you're happily married and then continue living that happily married life with your friends. After a while, hopefully he'll get the message. Life is full of what ifs. We'd never fall in love or grow or enjoy anything if we kept dwelling on them. Update. Edit. So, this post blew up in a way I was not expecting. Thank you to everyone who took the time to write insightful comments. I am trying to read them all. But a lot of people have sent me some pretty rude PMs and comments about how my husband should just divorce me, accusing me of being naive about how close I am to banging Steve, etc., etc. Let me be clear, I have no desire to leave my husband. I am happy I ended up with him and not Steve. I am not confused about my feelings for Steve or trying to decide whether I should have an affair or not. What I was asking for advice on is how to navigate this with my friend group, how to process my shock, and how, if possible, for my husband and I to continue our platonic friendship with Steve. This situation caught me off guard and I can definitely see how I should have set better boundaries in the moment instead of trying to laugh it off. But I don't think it's fair to jump to the conclusion I'm one Long Island iced tea away from wrecking my marriage. Thanks. This story is titled, I 29 male kissed a girl, 30 female, and immediately realized I messed up. Hi everyone. Sorry if this is not the right subreddit, but I'm a novice Reddit user. I'm also on mobile, so please forgive any formatting issues. I'm looking for advice on how to handle a situation that has been plaguing me recently. A few years back I hooked up with an acquaintance with whom I had a lot in common. I had known her for 2 years at this point. I thought she was cool from the very start and was thrilled when she initiated a hookup. I was younger, insecure, and dealing with some trauma, so the fact that she took interest in me in that way made me feel good. Because we got along so well, I thought we could continue hooking up from time to time. A few weeks later we're at a party. We're both drinking but we're both still aware. At one point, we're going to a different location and we get cut off from our group. It's just the two of us and I decide this may be a good chance to tell her how I feel. I tell her I wanted to talk, and I can't quite remember the words I said, but I stupidly go in for a kiss. She immediately recedes and runs away crying. Realizing that my plan wasn't the best idea and that it's downright fricked up, I apologize immediately and let her run off so as to not make her think I was trying to hurt her. I know that I hurt her anyway by trying to kiss her, and that kind of fricked me up because I generally try to be someone who doesn't hurt people. We never talked about that night, but we would still see each other at different parties. At one point after the incident, we were at a party and she was flirting, even trying to hold my hand at some point. It's been about 8 years since the incident and I haven't seen her in a few years, but we still follow each other on social media and like each other's posts. I was thinking about apologizing to her for that night and any other shite that I may have caused the next time I see her in person, even though I'm not sure when that will be. Is this a good idea? Should I do it online? Is it even worth bringing up at this point? I feel incredibly awful about the incident as I feel like I hurt her. Any advice would be appreciated, and I apologize if this is all over the place. Thank you. Comment 1. Wait, you were already occasionally hooking up when you tried to kiss her. And she ran away crying. Correct me if I'm wrong, but hooking up is more than kissing, and she was the one who reacted oddly there. Comment 2. I think that some people here are maybe being a little harsh. As a woman who has been in a similar situation, I promise you she doesn't still think about it. She's probably embarrassed that she reacted the way she did, and it likely had nothing to do with you. People have weird nights sometimes. Don't sweat it. Comment 3. She probably ran away crying because she liked you, but it seemed like you were only interested in hooking up. The way you were talking, it sounded like this was a few months ago. It's been 8 years, way too long to expect anything to actually become of it. Just move on. Thank you so very much for listening. Please check out my other videos and like and subscribe.